So here we've got two questions with two quadratics in them. X squared plus 6x plus 2 equals 0. 4x squared minus 8x minus 8 equals 0. And we want to solve these by method of completing the square. So that's the technique what we're going to do. So we're not going to do factorisation or the quadratic formula in these two examples. So here, this one here, we notice the coefficient of x is 1. So this one is a slightly more simple case than what we have here. So what we want to try and do is get these in the format of x plus some constant, let's call it b, and then squared minus some other constant c. That's the kind of format we want to set this up to, and then set that to equal 0. Okay, so what we do here, first of all, let's open up a bracket like this. So we've got x plus something, so we've got a plus sign, so it will be a plus, and set the squared term. And we keep the plus 2 outside, and that equals 0. So now what number do we put in here? Well, I see here x squared plus 6x. That's the bit we want to concentrate on. So in here, when I'm going to FOIL it out, I want a number that when I multiply it by 2, I'll get back to this 6. So in here, I need to put a 3. So basically, if I write 6 over 2, which we know is 3, and then what will happen is, if I just expand this out, x plus 3 squared, which is x plus 3, x plus 3, that's going to give me, if I FOIL it all out, x squared plus 6x plus 9. So I'm going to leave that for you guys to check. But that's what I should get if I FOIL it all out. Now you'll notice that I've only got x squared plus 6x. I've gained a plus 9. So what I need to do now is subtract that 9. Okay, so that's my setup. So now I need to simplify that. So now we've got the x plus 3 squared minus 9 plus 2 gives me minus 7, and set that to 0. Now, a slightly easier way to work out this number here, now this we call the magic number. So plus 3 squared, if I square that, I'm going to get 9. So that's what I need to subtract, hence why I've got the minus 9 there. And then leave this c value here equals 0. Okay, so now to solve it, we've already completed the square, that's that bit done. So now we want to solve it. So what I'll do is bring this minus 7 over to the other side. So I've got x plus 3 squared, and that equals, bring this on the other side, I get 7. So now to get the x out of this squared and the bracket, what I just need to do now is take the square root on both sides. So if I do that, I'll have x plus 3 equals square root of 7. Now that's not my only answer on this side. I now need a plus or a minus. So whenever you take the square root on both sides, one side is always going to have plus or minus next to it. So now to solve for the x, I need to get the 3 over to the other side. So now I've got x equals, bring minus 3 over, so minus 3 plus or minus square root of 7. So that's my two solutions, x equals minus 3 plus root 7, and x equals minus 3 minus root 7. So that's my two solutions for that one. This one here is slightly trickier case. Notice here I've got the number 4. Now what I want to try and do is get in this kind of format. Now with this number 4 in the way, it makes things a little bit awkward. So what I want to try and do is just get x squared in here. Well, with a 4 here, I can just divide everybody by 4. So if I divide this by 4, I'm left with x squared. Divide this by 4, I'm left with minus 2x. And divide that by 4, I'm left with minus 2. And obviously dividing 0 by 4, I still have 0. So that would still yield the same quadratic if I graph it and with the same solutions. So that's a valid move. So now at this stage, I'm back to where I was here. I'm back to a 1 in front, And now I need to try and take the square and find the magic number. So I've got x squared minus 2x. So let's concentrate on that part first. So open up my brackets. X, I've got a minus sign, so I need a minus in there. And then some terms squared, and then minus 2 equals 0. I can just continue those. So I just need to work out this bit and my magic number. Well, the coefficient of the x term, I just need to half. So 2 divided by 2 gives me 1. And my minus sign is already in there. So that takes care of that. Now I've got x minus 1 squared. So if I FOIL that one out, so x minus 1 squared, that's x minus 1, x minus 1. So that would give me x squared minus 2x plus 1. So that would take care of that. So now I've got a plus 1 here, which I didn't have originally. So now I need to subtract that one to make it correct, because if I do minus 1 here, they will cancel out and I'll be back to where I was. So now I've got minus 1 here. Okay, so now as I did on this stage to this stage, let's get these constants on the other side. So now I've got x minus 1 squared equals 3. So minus 1 over there gives me plus 1, minus 2 over there gives me plus 2, hence plus 3. And now let's take square root on both sides to get rid of this. So now I've got x minus 1 equals square root of 3. But again, not forgetting the crucial part, there's now 2 solutions. So plus or minus. And now to solve for x, just bring the 1 over. So now this will give me my 2 solutions, 1 plus or minus square root of 3. And that's how we complete the square and solve a quadratic at the same time. Okay.